That it is coming from the nose.
You said if you had a gun, you'd shoot him.
Yeah, it was taking its toll with stress.
Now,
I've provided you with a scientifically based explanation.
There is a neighbour dispute, and that's not going to go away just because we've come on Dr. Phil.
And even tested their theory.
I'm trying to understand how severe this is for y'all to be driven outside of your home. Let's do it.
So everybody, here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Most rewarding parts about having this platform is being able to reach fans worldwide. And you might not know this, but Dr. Phil actually airs in 55 countries and territories around the world. I see all of your messages, and I'm told that I am the #1 daytime talk show, not just in America, but in Australia as well. So today is an exciting Dr. Phil First. My guests are joining me all the way from down under, where they are currently one day ahead. It's tomorrow for them. With sun, sand, and coastline views, seems like paradise, right? I mean, look at this. Well, for my guest today, life on the beach is far from a vacation. Marie claims that for the past 4 years, she's been poisoned in her own home and is desperate for answers. She has even resorted to sleeping outdoors in a tent on her veranda to avoid the alleged chemicals. But her daughters say the situation isn't exactly as their mother claims.
For the past few years, my mum and her partner believe that someone in the neighbourhood has been trying to poison them.
This is our beautiful place, and our house is getting polluted. Ridiculous.
It's absolutely taken over their life.
The situation with my mother is very extreme. My mother thinks that somebody is trying to murder her.
A few years ago when all this began, my mum was so paranoid she covered her house in security cameras. There's at least 20 of them.
And this is the cameras.
Her behaviour definitely escalated from then.
Every day my mum goes through the footage of the night before. She's constantly looking at the monitors throughout the day and journaling everything.
These are my diaries. I started documenting every minute of the day just about.
Whenever I'm speaking to my mum on the phone, she's like, oh, I've got to go inside. This person has just let off another chemical bomb.
My mum spent $40,000 on a new roof to stop the poison from entering. My mum and her partner have been sleeping in a tent on the front veranda.
Good night, I'll be straight behind you, don't worry.
Because they believe the house is full of poison. My mum believes the person that is poisoning her has a directional mic and that they can hear everything that she says inside her home. She constantly plays the radio because she thinks people are listening to her all the time.
And if she wants to say anything to this person, she whispers with them. She will say, I have been to the police.
My mum's extremely paranoid and she won't leave the house for long periods of time.
Whenever she does leave her house, she's sneaking out the backyard because she does not want this person to see her leaving. I feel like my mother is at her breaking point and she could snap and do something serious that she might regret.
I'm really scared for my mum's life. I'm also scared of what she could possibly do. My mum's behaviour has become so erratic. A few months ago, she said to me if she had a gun, she would shoot the person she believes is poisoning her.
Well, joining us virtually is Amy and Emily. Amy, Emily, it's good to meet the two of you.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
So tell me about your mother. Let's talk about her first. This is something that has displayed itself just of late, right? She hasn't been this way all of her life.
No,
No,
not
she
at
hasn't
all.
been this way all her life. She started becoming quite obsessive shortly after her mother died.
Did this ramp up, Emily, or did it come on all at one time?
It started to ramp up. So it started with she thought that the neighbour was throwing prickles on her lawn, and then the neighbour, she thought that this person, was poisoning her plants, and then it went to security cameras. From there, she started installing them.
Amy, you say that she said if she had a gun, she would shoot. What did she say about that? I mean, was she really agitated and serious about it?
I received a pretty stressful call from her. She was quite upset and quite erratic, and she was so overwhelmed with her symptoms and what had been going on that she said, you know, she's got to the point now where if she had a gun, she would feel like she'd want to shoot this person.
Okay. And you don't believe that your mother is being poisoned?
I don't. I feel like it's very difficult to think that someone could do that to another person, and I'm not there. So I don't think that this is happening, no.
Amy and Emily's mom, Marie, says she documents every detail of every day. Why? And what does she claim happened January 10th at 2:45? Well, she's got her records. We're going to talk to her and find out after the break.
Pause. Go on dissolve. 1042. Rule 42 dissolve and trap.
We started noticing a chemical smell, and it just progressed. And a couple of times there's been like a mist.
This is where I look at the cameras. I check this daily.
It's a silent war.
And later, so you guys have given up your home and you're sleeping in this.
Oh.
We've given up our bed and we're sleeping in that, yes.
Oh my gosh. Now don't move.
Yeah, if I roll over, you're out of here.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Where's the bathroom? 2, 1, effects. Rule 41 trap.
I document everything in a diary from when I wake up to when I go to bed, and with what they're doing.
10th of January, 2:45. The kids sneak to bin, carrying a plastic bag, puts it in the yellow bin. The smell was so terrible. It was shocking.
I'm a bit obsessed with it because they have lied in the past.
I write everything, feeling very lightheaded. There's constantly odours. I've had to step it up with the way I do things. I suppose it's a little... That's the point I got driven to.
Well, we just met Amy and Emily, sisters from Australia, who say their mom, Marie, is taking extreme measures, such as sleeping outside in a tent, to combat alleged poisoning by a neighbor. Now, Marie says since 2017, her life has turned upside down because her house is engulfed with toxic fumes and is completely unlivable. She also says the worst part of it all is that her family just doesn't believe her.
A neighbour is on a mission to harm us, and it's a silent war. And they have been attacking us for the last 3 years. We started noticing a chemical smell that just progressed. Neighbours putting stuff in the fire to make it smell unusual, and the toxic smoke is engulfing our home. I'm constantly checking my surveillance cameras to catch the neighbour in the act. We have 10 cameras installed around the perimeter of our house. The cameras are recording 24/7. When I get this smell, I go back to the computer and I look for whatever's happening. And a couple of times there's been like a mist. Sometimes we've caught the neighbour mixing soils. You smell like a pungent chlorine smell. All our windows have to be closed all the time. And they do this to intrude on our comfort in our home.
This is my wardrobe at the moment, sealed in a container.
Every time there's been an odour or fumes, that my neighbour does a little dance. I call it the chemical dance. Kicking legs up and dancing, clapping hands. I started sleeping in a tent because I needed clean air.
This is where I'm sleeping, on the veranda. The house is just too toxic. The readings are very high.
We keep a radio on because we felt over a period of time that they had some sort of a mic on us because they're showing signs that they could hear what we were saying. I'm experiencing health effects because a neighbour is poisoning us. So I get rashes on my ankle. I get red eyes. I get blisters on my eyelids. I get lightheaded. I get a lot of pains in my chest, and I wake up with cramps through the night. I'm worried about our health. My relationship with my two eldest daughters are a little bit strained because they just say I'm being paranoid. It makes me angry that I cannot prove that the odour, fumes, are coming from the neighbour. They're deliberately trying to poison us.
Well, joining us virtually is Marie. So welcome.
Hello, how are you, Dr. Phil?
I am well, and it's good to meet you. Tell me why you think your neighbor would be doing this.
I'm not really sure why they're doing this to us. There's never been a war. It's been a silent war. It's just progressed from nuisance stuff to toxic odour, fumes entering our home, engulfing our home, toxic smoke.
Is it their intent to harm you? What's their goal, you think?
Because it's been going on for so long now, there's definitely intentional harm to us, yes.
Okay.
From them. And it was taking its toll with stress, the emotional side.
Well, up until last year, Marie's partner, Gordon, says he was also skeptical about this alleged poisoning, but not so much anymore. How did he become a believer? We'll find out when we come back.
Pause. The one ready 43. Rule 43 developing track.
The smell is unbearable. You'd have a chemical taste in your mouth. I had a friend come in. He spent 3 days with us, and it actually made him start to feel sick. It's my job to protect us, but there's a limit to what we can do.
You know my law firm.
Sorry, what?
We're going to do the tent in this segment.
Tent in this segment. Okay, move your tent position upstage. Ready effects to 41 in 3, 2, 1, effects.
My mum is suffering some kind of neurological issue. Some of the things that she talks about with the poisoning, it absolutely sounds crazy.
She's become obsessed with this situation. It's consuming her life.
My biggest fear is losing my mother. If my mum keeps going with these beliefs, she's going to do irreversible psychological damage to herself.
We've tried to exhaust everything that we have in Australia.
I've watched Dr. Phil for a number of years, and I think he's the best. We don't have anyone like that here in Australia.
I feel like he's the only person that can help my mum.
Well, we're back with sisters Amy and Emily in Australia, who say they've tried everything to convince their mom, Marie, she's not being poisoned by a neighbor. And even though I'm over 7,000 miles away, they reached out to me as they feel I'm the only one who can help in this situation. And Marie says her daughters don't understand because they haven't been around to witness what she calls this daily terrorization. And she claims her husband, Gordon, gets it. So here's what he has to say.
The situation in our home has turned our lives upside down. The smell is unbearable. When Mari first started experiencing the effects of this, I couldn't smell it. I didn't think there was anything wrong. I did start to think that my wife was crazy. And then I started to get symptoms myself. First symptoms I got were cramping on the legs and then waking up feeling like you'd been drugged. You'd have a chemical taste in your mouth. It hasn't just affected us. I had a friend come in. He spent 3 days with us. He complained about it and said that smells terrible, and it actually made him start to feel sick. It's my job to protect us, being every man in his castle. But there's a limit to what we can do. Sleeping in a tent, it's giving us fresh air at night, and we're not being exposed to the chemicals. This is a very stressful situation. So we've sat down with a detective, and he couldn't help us. He said, you need to have proof. Mari and I believe we are right, and Amy's mission is to prove that we're crazy, but this is real.
Well, joining me virtually is Gordon. So, Gordon, thank you for joining the conversation.
G'day, Dr. Phil.
Here's my question to you, Gordon. Have you entertained alternative explanations to being attacked or terrorized by the neighbors, that it could be something else causing this?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty obvious from what we've seen on cameras and what we're experiencing that it really can't be coming from somewhere else. I'm convinced. We know that it is coming from the neighbours.
Okay, so you say you now experience health effects. Well, I've got two questions that I can't get past, and one of them is, what are possible alternative explanations? And then the second thing is, you think sleeping outside is the answer? Because if the chemicals are coming from outside the home, it just seems to me that being outside the home would be taking down a barrier that would be keeping you safe.
It doesn't work like that, Dr. Phil. Once it's in the house, it's very hard to get out.
So Marie started sleeping in a 5-foot by 6-foot tent outside on her veranda. Unfortunately, at 5'8", Gordon claims he couldn't fit in that tent, so he was sleeping inside on the lounge. And last month, Gordon says the odors became so severe that he bought a larger tent that they've been sharing for the past 2 weeks. And I'm trying to understand how severe this is for y'all to be driven outside of your home. Robin, come up here if you will. This is exactly the type and size tent that they're in. I can't imagine.
Are you gonna? Do you need some
doing
help?
this?
Are you gonna make it? I'm gonna get in. Okay.
Hop in.
All right. Oh.
Move it, sister.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I did it. Yeah.
So you guys have given up your home and you're sleeping in this.
Oh.
We've given up our bed and we're sleeping in that. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Now don't move.
Yeah. If I roll over, you're out of here.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm dead. Where's the bathroom?
Yeah, and your house is over 3,000 square feet, but you're out in this. That's just strange to me.
It's bizarre.
We can cozy up a little bit.
Yeah, now she's getting on my side. All right. Well, as I always say, you can't make sense out of nonsense, but what's going on here? We got to get to the bottom of this. We'll start looking at the scientific evidence next.
Set one. And a pause. Go on this all. Pause. Audience in. Get him.
I have done a deep dive to figure out what's going on. So we sent photos to a world-renowned dermatologist. So what's going on? Maurice sent us a video of what she believes is a chemical spray outside her home. So what did you think when examining this footage?
We're here to learn the secret to a healthy and happy brain with Dr. Daniel A.
Batra, I need to show these photos.
For Dr. Batra, it's item 31.
Item 31, font 3, red, blue.
I've been living in this house for 42 years. We started renovating about 3 years ago. We did the bathroom and the kitchen. We had to stop renovations of the house because of the fumes. We got the bedroom carpeted. I'd replace the roof to try and stop the toxic fumes getting into the house, but it didn't work. This is our home and we are not going anywhere. We want to know who is poisoning us and putting our lives in danger.
Now, Marie and Gordon say they are convinced they are being poisoned by a neighbor, while Amy and Emily say, no, that's just not true. Now, I'm objective about this, and I want to look at this scientifically because I assume you want answers.
Yeah.
And so I have done a deep dive to figure out what's going on. So we sent photos to a world-renowned dermatologist who has also appeared on The Doctors, Dr. Sonia Batra. and she is here today to discuss her analysis. Now, Dr. Batra, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So what's going on?
The photos of the rash really are more supportive of an allergic or irritant reaction. So not specifically a toxin that someone's applying to the skin, but certainly in context with the eyes and the blistering and the inflammation and irritation of the eyes, you can put it all together with something that might be aerosolized in their environment.
So your advice would be that they might get tested for allergies of some sort.
Correct.
She might be tested for that to see.
Yeah, I would think about things involved in construction in the house, sometimes even mold, sometimes other irritants. And those thankfully can be allergy tested, and they can be tested in the house as well.
Okay. We also sent a sample of Marie's hair as well as dust from her home to be tested for heavy metals and minerals. And joining us from Australia is clinician, consultant, and founder of ToxTest, Hartmut Gunter. Hartmut, how are you?
Very well, Dr. Phil. Thank you.
So tell us what you found.
In medical terminology, we call it an unremarkable result, meaning there was nothing really significant there that would indicate any heightened exposure to those nasty metals. Interestingly enough, also cutting to the chase, the dust analysis also found very little heightened heavy metal concentration in the dust, and Maria would have got that dust from inside her house. So there was nothing really elevated.
All right, well, that's great, and thank you for clearing that up. Now, Marie's daughters also say she is convinced a neighbor has bugged her house, so she blasts the radio on a daily basis to prevent them from hearing any of her indoor conversations. So we reached out to an investigations team at Prime Investigations in Sydney, who conducted a bug sweep at Marie's home. They used a radio frequency spectrum analyzer and checked for devices and used thermal technology. And they found, fortunately, that the house is not bugged. So that's good news, Marie, that there are no bugs in the house. There's no one listening to you with any listening devices, neighbors or otherwise. So the house is not bugged. Now, Marie says she spends all day in front of her security cameras and sent us a video of what she believes is a chemical spray outside her home. So we sent that surveillance footage from her cameras to Mark Daniel, senior forensic analyst at Digital Forensics in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's hear from Mark, who joins us virtually. Mark, what did you think when examining this footage?
There's really nothing out of the ordinary on these videos. There are a few anomalies that some people may see and think that it's something that it's not. For example, maybe dirt on the lens, some condensation in the lens, you know, the light hitting something at a different angle. There's dozens and dozens of things that we commonly see, and we do hundreds of these cases per week. There really wasn't anything on there that leads us to believe there's any kind of a chemical or gas or anything like that at all, to be honest with you.
And you look at hundreds of these a week, as you say, so.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. So in summary, according to Mark Daniel, forensic analyst, he analyzes surveillance footage, and the neighbor was not seen spraying chemicals. But there's more to this. Amy says she suspects her mom, Marie, is experiencing some type of delusions, maybe from volatile organic compounds, which reportedly include imagining a family is trying to kill you. Well, then that means you've got to test the air at Marie's house, and we did exactly that, and we have those results when we come back.
I'm heading out to meet Marie. She believes her neighbors are trying to poison her, and I'm going to do some investigation. I'm not really sure what's going to go on here, what's going down, but it seems like some pretty serious stuff.
Been home. I don't want my kids to be around her when she's going to be so erratic. I'm scared that it's going to completely destroy our family.
She either accepts everything that Dr. Phil says, because I feel like he is the only person in the world that can help her right now, or she will lose myself, my daughter, and my sister, and my nephews.
If Dr. Phil shows my mum and her partner that she's not being poisoned and she still refuses to accept that information, then my sister and I have no other choice but to walk away.
Well, and that's the last thing we want, is for a family to fragment. Now, my team contacted AirSafe. This is a world-accredited company and Australia's trusted experts in air quality, hygiene, health, and safety to perform various tests at Marie and Gordon's house. Take a look.
G'day, Dr. Phil. I'm Joshua Martin. I work for a company called AirSafe. We are environmental scientists that do hazardous materials consulting and testing. I'm heading out to meet Marie. She believes her neighbours are trying to poison her, or they're making some toxic chemicals for pesticide purposes, and I'm going to do some investigation. So Marie's actually called me on the way up, and she said to meet her down at the general store, not to come to her house, because she's convinced her neighbours have set up video cameras to watch her, spy on her. She even thinks they've bugged her as well. I'm not really sure what's going to go on here, what's going down, but it seems like some pretty serious stuff. So we're going around the back. I've had to swap my AirSafe clothes for a normal hat, a high vis, and a normal t-shirt just to pretend I'm a builder. We tested for volatile organic compounds, asbestos, lead, and then we tested for hexavalent and chromium in the air. There is a pretty funky smell coming off here, so I might do some microbiological air sampling in the middle of the house. I also did some general dust monitoring. So we just had a day's worth of monitoring in Marie's house. She thinks the neighbours might have done some things last night. We've got some gas detectors up here. We've got some mold sampling. The chemical analysis that we're doing is some of the most thorough and some of the most detailed. You name it, we did it pretty much.
Okay, Josh, what did you find?
So out of the 280 chemical tests we did, there was no significant, no traceable results for anything that we could find, except for one thing, which was some airborne mold and some surface mold, which we found in the ceiling space. And the surface mold was in between her bedroom and the bathroom. And that surface mold is known to have toxigenic and allergenic effects. And it is also known to release VOCs in high concentrations.
It's very dangerous, and I am now so glad that you have slept in these tents outside, because it got you away from this very toxic mold that's in your house, because that can have a very profound impact on your overall health and well-being. Now, while the result of Marie's air test have been revealed, I really have some thoughts and some questions for Marie and Gordon when we come back. Constantly arguing with of the COVID-19 pandemic, millions of families are struggling with hunger in the U.S. Feeding America is the nation's leading domestic hunger relief organization, providing meals to more than 40 million each year, including 12 million children who may not know where their next meal is coming from. You can give the gift of meals during these difficult times. Each dollar you donate can help provide at least 10 meals to families facing hunger in our country. Visit drphil.com to find out how you can help. Thank you. I had two big questions going into this, and one was, are you being contaminated? And the answer is yes. You are being contaminated from inside your own home.
There's one thing that hasn't been investigated, and that's the smoke that comes out has been coming out of the chimney over the winter. I'm pretty sure they would have found some nasty things in that.
I have brought every expert in Australia and some as far away as Cleveland, Ohio, to narrow down a clear and present cause that can be tied to every symptom you have described. I found it, I located it, I identified it, and presented it to you, and now you want to tell me that you're concerned that a neighbor has smoke coming out of their chimney? I thought that's what chimneys were for. I mean, seriously, Gordon, come on.
I still believe that at some stage we're going to get it's going to happen again. I just believe that.
Okay, how about you, Marie?
There is a neighbour dispute, and that's not going to go away just because we've come on Dr. Phil. You know, it's there. There's things that are happening around our house that, unless you live there, you can't say.
Okay,
so,
Marie, my question for you is, I've provided you with a scientifically based alternative explanation to explain the symptoms that you attributed to a chemical attack from your neighbors. Do you accept that or do you not? That's a yes or no question.
Yes. I accept the chemical side of it, yes.
Okay, Amy and Emily, any final comment?
I'm really happy that we've actually got an answer now to what is happening. Yeah. So now my daughter and I can go home.
I think if you'll give this a little bit of time, this can change when the mold changes here even more. And by the way, he did check the smoke. There was nothing toxic in it, just so you know. Just ahead, we use our cell phones for texting, news, taking photos, and occasionally even make phone calls. Next, I'm going to show you how to use it for something really fun. Closed captioning provided by...
If you suffer from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, TheraWorks Relief can help.
Get TheraWorks Relief today. Available in stores everywhere.
Sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today. Do you need a mental break from the constant news updates and social media notifications on your phone? I do. I tell you, it just comes on and on and on. Well, today I'm going to show you a fun and relaxing way to escape without putting your phone down, which I know is hard to do. It's a great app game called Solitaire Grand Harvest. Now, we have two people in our virtual audience who love to play and will let us in on all the fun. Where's Brandy?
I'm right here, Dr. Phil.
Hey, Brandy. Where are you and how long have you been playing?
I'm in the beautiful Smoky Mountains of Western North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And I've been playing this game for 4 years, and I love it.
Robin and I love it. We play it all the time. Yes. And where's Brooke?
Hi, Dr. Phil. It's nice to meet you.
Hey, good to meet you. You're in Nebraska?
Yes.
How good are you?
I've been playing for about a year. I found it when COVID hit and we were homebound, and I find it's a great little break from everything else going on. I actually grew up playing the card game Solitaire, and I just love that this is a new twist on it. It's challenging, and I just love to play.
Now, Brandy and Brooke, since you both love playing, I've got a challenge for you. We're going to see who can finish their Solitaire first. You guys have your phones?
Yep.
We do.
Whoever finishes first, just shout out, you're done, and that you've won. Okay, are you ready? Don't start yet. Are you ready?
All right.
Yep. All right, yes. 3, 2, 1, play. And while they're playing, I'll tell you, this is a unique game from any other solitaire games because you get to grow and harvest your very own crops on a farm. And you can add new locations. platform by piling up cards in sequential order, either with higher or lower number. And you get a streak bonus when you play as many cards in a row as you can without opening one from the deck. And you can also challenge your friends because you can connect on Facebook to see your friends on the map and beat their progression. It's a wonderful and great way to stay connected while staying socially distanced. And Solitaire Grand Harvest is fun, but it's really challenging enough to keep you engaged through every level because there are surprises along the way. That's what we love about it. And the best part, it's free. Oh, hey, you got beat by the girls that have been playing for a year. I have never completed a game that fast, I'll tell you. That's great. Look, you guys are fun. So thank you two for playing. You're going to both get an e-gift card from Solitaire Grand Harvest for $100 to spend on anything you like.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And guess what? Everybody in the virtual audience, you're also getting a $100 e-gift card. This is whether you're a solitaire beginner or a pro, Solitaire Grand Harvest is sure to keep you entertained. It's really a lot of fun. To play, just go to your Apple Store or Google Play on your phone and download Solitaire Grand Harvest for free. Plus, you'll get a special welcome bonus of 20,000 coins. Make sure to tell your friends and family so you can all play together. And if you'd like to be part of our virtual audience, all you need is a computer with a camera and high-speed internet. You can join us from anywhere in the world. For all the details, just go to my website, drphil.com, and click on Be Part of the Audience. Scroll down to Reservations, fill out the form, and you can be in the audience. And I'd also love to hear your thoughts on today's show or anything else you'd like to comment on. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere. And you guys like secrets? Well, Robin has a lot of them, and she shares them on her podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw, so be sure and check that out. Thanks for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. So long. We're talking about Stephanie.
How do you handle everybody being so stubborn all the time?
You know, here's the thing. These two have made a life commitment to this belief, right? She's been writing in that journal like 18 hours a day, and she's been watching those cameras, and it's like, oh my God, the silence will be deafening. There will be so much time left on her hands. It's like this has become her identity, her job. And to give that up is really hard. And I also understand that the effects of this black mold, it really does affect the neurotransmitters in your brain. And one of the things that it does is create mental emotional upheaval, including paranoia. So if you get that black mold remediated, get it out of the house, and let the brain clear, then she might not be so stubborn because that might be driving part of this. And Gordon, he drank the Kool-Aid. That's why I said, come on, man, you know better. You need to man up, dude. Come on. Yeah, Jessica.
If you're so concerned, then move out. It's just a house. Are you more in tune with your house than your own health? You can just move.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, if it's that big a deal, then hell, do move. I got more to worry about than the neighbor. I don't know. Tracy?
How do you not get frustrated beyond belief when they won't realize the science?
You want to know the bane of existence for a psychologist is what we call the yeah, but patient. The yeah, but patient. No matter what you say, they say yeah, but. Somebody say, well,